It was raining and my boyfriend came to pick me up from work by car. I was on my period and accidentally stained the seat. My boyfriend blew up. Are you kidding me? Why didn't you say you were having your period in advance? Look at what you've done to my car. It's disgusting. I covered my stomach, looking pale, and explained to him, it's probably because of the cold that my period came early. Don't be angry. We'll find a car wash later and deal with it. Unexpectedly, he scolded me for a full 10 minutes. Finally, he pushed me into the rain and said disgustedly, take a taxi by yourself. I'll wait for you at home. Watching the car drive away in a cloud of dust, I took out my phone and dialed 110. Hello, I want to report to the police. My car has been stolen. It was raining heavily after work. I sent a message to Feng Zengwen asking him to pick me up. He replied immediately, baby, it's not that I don't want to pick you up, but there's heavy traffic due to the rain. It takes at least over an hour to go from my company to yours. Can you go back by yourself? Or you can ask your colleagues to see if they can give you a ride. Seeing this familiar excuse, I felt very uncomfortable. The car Feng Zengwen is driving now was a graduation gift from my mother to me. As soon as I took the car home, Feng Zengwen asked me if he could drive the car. Baby, look. You just got your driver's license and haven't touched the car yet. It's not safe to drive. Besides, it's so tiring to drive by yourself. Why don't I be your driver? Wherever you want to go, with just one message, I'll be there whenever you call. I thought what he said made sense, so I gave him the car key. At the beginning, he was indeed attentive. He picked me up and sent me to and from work on time every day without complaint, no matter it was windy or rainy. But after a long time, when I asked him to get up in the morning to send me to work, he would complain, it's too early. I was busy with the plan last night and didn't sleep until early in the morning. Can you take a taxi by yourself today? I didn't think much and reached out and said, then give me the car key. I'll drive by myself. But unexpectedly, he got angry, no. I have to go out to meet clients today. How can I go if I give you the car? Kiao, I'm working so hard to marry you earlier. Can you be more understanding? There was no way. Since he said that, I could only take a taxi by myself. So in the 8 years since graduation, I have driven the car only a few times. But gradually, Feng Zengwen became busier and busier, and there were more and more reasons why he couldn't pick me up. Feng Zengwen might not know that it's impossible to get a taxi on such a rainy day. My colleagues have given me rides many times, but it's not that convenient for them. Of course, I would feel embarrassed if it happened too many times. So, after thinking for a while, I replied to Feng Zengwen, "It's okay. Then I'll just work overtime at the company for a while. Call me when you arrive." I got off work at 5:30, and Feng Zengwen arrived at 8:30. He parked the car in front of our company, but he didn't mean to get off. I looked at the pouring rain, hesitated for a few seconds, picked up my bag and rushed into the rain. When I got in the car, most of my clothes were wet. The hair I carefully styled in the morning was now wet by the rain and hung on both sides of my cheeks in strands, looking very embarrassed. The air conditioning in the car was on very high, and I couldn't help shivering. Feng Zengwen held the steering wheel and kept complaining, "I told you to take a taxi by yourself. You insisted that I pick you up. If you listened to me, we would have been home by now. Can't you be more independent like other girls? The whole city is raining. What should those without boyfriends do?" I pursed my lips and didn't speak. I turned around, fastened the seat belt, and picked up a tissue to wipe my hair. I could feel that Feng Zengwen's attitude towards me was becoming more and more impatient recently. No matter what I did, he didn't like it. He thought I didn't do this well and that well. My best friend said, when a man starts to nitpick at you in all kinds of ways, there's no doubt that there must be someone he likes more outside and is just comparing you. Feng Zengwen was a senior 2 years older than me. The company I interned at had business contacts with their company. The two got to know each other after a few encounters. It was natural for us to be together later. He was my first love. I never thought he would do anything wrong to me. For all these changes, I just thought it was because we had been together for too long and lost our passion. Who can guarantee that the cup-holding love can always boil? And we are already engaged. The wedding is set in half a year. If nothing unexpected happens, I will spend my whole life with him. But now, listening to his complaints as always, an unnamed anger rose in my heart, and my lower abdomen was hurting. After a while, the pain became more and more intense. I almost curled up on the seat. But Feng Zhengwen never paid attention to me, not even for a second. Before long, a familiar warm current flowed under me. It seemed that my period came early because of the cold. Since my first period, I have had a particularly heavy flow every month and would suffer terribly from the pain. When I was at home before, my mother remembered my period. A few days before my period, she would stew all kinds of tonics for me to warm up and relieve my pain. After being with Feng Zhengwen, he cared about this for 2 years. But as we both got busier at work, this matter was also forgotten. Adults all have their own things to deal with. So later, I took care of myself according to the prescription given by the traditional Chinese medicine doctor. This time it happened suddenly, and the familiar pain swept over me like a tide. I hurriedly covered my stomach and called him, "Pull over the car. I have my period. See if there is a bathroom nearby." Feng Zhengwen pulled the car to the side of the road. I got up and took a look. The situation was worse than I imagined. Not only my pants but also a small piece of the seat was stained with blood. And as I moved, I could feel the blood gushing out. I had no choice in this situation. I was about to put some tissues on the seat and deal with it when I got home. But Feng Zhengwen blew up. He stared at the blood stain incredulously. "Are you kidding me? Why didn't you say you were having your period in advance? Look at what you've done to my car. It's disgusting." Disgusting? I'm 30 years old. This is the first time someone has said I'm disgusting. An unprecedented sense of embarrassment hit me. Besides, I also felt cold-hearted. I endured the grievance and explained to him, it should be because of the cold that my period came early. It's okay. We'll find a car wash later and deal with it. I thought this was the best way to handle it. Now I just want to go home quickly, take a bath, have a cup of hot ginger tea, and then get into the bed. Unexpectedly, Feng Zhengwen was still relentless. "You think just washing the car is enough? That smell will always be in the car. Do you know that? You're so stupid." Feng Zhengwen glanced at me and omitted the word in the middle. But I still knew what he meant from his mouth shape. I was already shaking all over with pain and asked him, "Then what should we do now? I'm already in such pain. Do you still want to discuss with me whether I should have my period or not? And why do you blame me? This car was bought for me by my mother. I don't even care. Why do you care so much?" These words probably hit Feng Zhengwen's sore spot. Feng Zhengwen stared at me with wide eyes, and his cheeks turned red. After a moment, he unbuckled his seat belt and got out of the car. The next second, the passenger door was opened. He threw me an umbrella and pulled me out of the seat with his hand. I was on the verge of collapse and completely like a puppet at his mercy. Feng Zhengwen's face showed undisguised disgust. "Take a taxi back by yourself. I'll wait for you at home." He threw down a sentence, got into the car, stepped on the accelerator, and the car sped away, disappearing into the traffic flow soon. Only I was left standing in the rain, holding my bag, stunned. The cars beside me sped by, and the accumulated water splashed all over me. I never expected that on a rainy day, when I was experiencing menstrual cramps and in the middle of the traffic flow. Feng Zhengwen was so insane as to throw me out of the car. But I didn't even have the strength to scold him. Now my lower abdomen feels like there's a hand stirring inside, and all my internal organs are cramping with pain. The pain made me unconsciously bend down. Suddenly, my vision went black and I knew nothing. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital. It turned out that a kind aunt drove by and sent me to the hospital. This kind aunt not only sent me to the hospital but also thoughtfully ordered a bowl of hot porridge for me to warm my body. I was a little embarrassed. After all, I was quite embarrassed at that time. All kinds of sewage and blood were mixed on my body, which must have dirted someone else's car. "Thank you so much. I dirted your car. I'm really sorry. Why don't we add contact information and I'll transfer the car wash fee to you?" Unexpectedly, the other party refused. The aunt waved her hand generously. "It's okay. It doesn't cost much to wash the car. Besides, every girl has special times. When you fainted there alone, a thin and small figure. It's so dangerous with cars coming and going on this rainy day. Meeting you is fate. Adding contact information is okay, but there's no need for the car wash fee. Speaking of this, the aunt was a little puzzled. Girl, why didn't you take a taxi on such a rainy day? Anyway, your body is the most important thing. The doctor just told me that your body is not good. You've been exposed to the rain for so long today. If you don't recuperate well, it will affect your fertility in the future. I didn't know how to explain to her and could only lower my head and drink porridge silently. The aunt's concerned tone reminded me of my mother. If she knew that I was left on the road by Feng Zengwen, how heartbroken she would be. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but feel a sour nose and my tears were about to fall. The aunt had something to do. Seeing that I was okay, she gave me some instructions and left. After a while, Feng Zengwen's call came in. I only felt a splitting headache, and my mind was full of the scene of Feng Zengwen throwing me out of the car. I silenced my phone. But Feng Zengwen was persistent and made more than 60 calls. When the phone rang for the 6th to 9th time, I answered the call. Hello? Nan Kiao. Can you stop being so willful? Look at what time it is. You still don't come home and don't answer the phone. Do you know how worried I am? I gave a sneer. Do you have anything to do with me? Feng Zengwen seemed not to notice the coldness in my words and sighed deeply. I won't argue with you about this for now. My mother came to see you. You come back right now and cook for her. Remember not to show a bad face when you enter the door, so my mother won't worry and think that we had a fight. Feng Zengwen is from a single-parent family. His father died in an accident when he was 4 years old, and his mother raised him up through hardships. So, after our engagement, he proposed to bring his mother over to take care of her after marriage. He said, "My mother has been working hard for more than 20 years. Now it's time for us to be filial to her." But he was busy with work, so every time his mother came, I took care of her. What's worse is that my living habits and his mother's are completely opposite and we can't get along at all. Neither Feng Zengwen nor I can cook. Usually, we eat in the cafeteria at noon and order some takeout randomly at night. But Feng Zengwen's mother said that she wasn't used to eating outside food and just wanted to have some simple food at home. There was no way. I could only bite the bullet. Feng Zengwen's mother asked me to kneel on the ground and wipe the floor so that it would be clean. As a wife, I should get up early every day to make breakfast so that my husband can have breakfast as soon as he gets up, which can enhance the happiness of the family. She taught me with her more than 40 years of experience. What sweeping robots and dishwashers, those things are all deceiving. It's just that you are stupid and have too much money. Doing housework is inherently a woman's job. I'm teaching you these now for your own good. Every time she claimed to come to see me and take care of me, she actually exhausted me to death. Now Feng Zengwen's mother probably comes about once every half a month, and I can't stand it anymore. If we lived together and see each other every day, wouldn't we fight? To avoid deeper conflicts, I suggested renting a house in the same community and we would pay the rent. But Feng Zengwen said, "No, my mother is waiting for us to get married and live in the new house." How would it look if this got out? 3 hours ago, Feng Zengwen left me on the street. He didn't ask about me in the meantime. Now he acts as if nothing happened and wants me to go back and cook for his mother. For the first time, I reflected on myself. Why did I make myself so humble? In all these years with Feng Zengwen, I was too tolerant of him. When there were conflicts, I thought it was better to have one less thing. Just like my parents, they bickered all their lives, but weren't they also sweet? But I forgot that although my parents loved to quarrel, almost every time, my father would bow his head to coax my mother first and then analyze right and wrong with her afterwards. But Feng Zengwen is almost cold towards everything. Every time we quarreled, he had to distinguish right from wrong. In the end, I couldn't take it anymore and was the first to lower my head and admit my mistake to him. Perhaps that rain was too cold and piercing, making me completely wake up. I took a deep breath and said to Feng Zengwen, who was chattering non-stop on the other end of the phone, "Let's break up. You return the car and the decoration money to me, and I'll return the 88,000 yuan betrothal gift and the 20,000 yuan worth of 3 gold items your family gave me." The other side was silent for a few seconds, and then came Feng Zengwen's incredulous questioning, "Nan Kiao, is there something wrong with your brain? Just because of such a small matter, you want to break up with me?" "Yes, it's just because of such a small matter." Up to now, Feng Zengwen still thinks leaving me in the car is just a small matter. I should endure the pain, take a taxi home by myself, and then cook a full-course Chinese banquet for their mother and son. Feng Zengwen still wanted to say something, but was interrupted urgently by an old woman's voice. Son, if she wants to break up, let's break up with her. I've told you before that this daughter-in-law can't be spoiled. Now she can even shit on your head. It's okay to break up. The betrothal gift and the 3 gold items must be returned. Don't even think about the car and the decoration money. Don't be stupid. She proposed the breakup herself. She has wasted your youth for so many years. This money should be regarded as compensation for our mental losses. Feng Zengwen pondered for a few seconds and said, Nan Qiao, you are indeed a bit too much this time. No matter what, my mother is your elder. You didn't even come to take a look. Based on my understanding of Feng Zengwen, when he avoids a topic, he will change the topic like now, trying to whitewash the piece. I could turn a blind eye and not care before. But now I interrupted him impatiently. Yes, yes, yes. I'm too much. So let's break up and return the car and the money to me. Feng Zengwen was choked by me. Why do you keep talking about money now? When did you become so realistic? I tell you. I sneered. It seems that asking for my own money back makes me realistic. Yes, yes, yes. You are not realistic. You are the most noble. So when will you return the money to me? The decoration money is a total of 600,000 yuan. I'll give you a week to raise it. As for the car, I need it now. Please send the car to me. Feng Zengwen might have realized that I was serious this time, and his tone softened a lot later. Isn't it just that I didn't pick you up? I'm sorry to you, okay? Where are you now? I'll come to pick you up. Feng Zengwen still thinks that leaving me in the car is just a small matter until now. It's me making a mountain out of a molehill. For such a person, I'm too lazy to explain to him at all. No need. I just want the car. That was bought for me by my mother. You have driven it for 5 years. The maintenance fees and various expenses of the car for these 5 years were all paid by me. Considering our many years of relationship, I won't ask you for the vehicle usage fee. I should have said these words to him long ago and let myself suffer so many grievances for nothing. The car was bought by my mother, but I had no right to use it. I was even left in the car without any reason. Feng Zengwen made a down payment for the house, 300,000 yuan, emptying his savings for many years. Our family paid the decoration money, 600,000 yuan. As a result, every time Feng Zengwen's mother came, she would speak sarcastically that I was living in her son's house. Whoever loves to bear these grievances can bear them. Anyway, I can't stand it anymore. I thought that when I said this, Feng Zengwen was also an educated intellectual. The two of us should be able to part peacefully without making it too ugly. But on the other end of the phone, Feng Zengwen's mother's sharp voice rang out again. You little bitch who only cares about money. Who do you think you are? What's wrong with my son driving your car? Even you are from our Feng family. Not only the car, even if your parents die, the property should also be inherited by our Zengwen. Feng Zengwen's mother's voice was intermittent, and there were also Feng Zengwen's voices trying to stop her in the middle. The more his mother spoke, the more excited she became. Finally, she put down a harsh word. You ignorant thing. I won't give it to you. What can you do to me? If you have the ability, go to the police. She didn't give me a chance to scold back, and the phone was hung up. I was so angry that I was shaking all over, and the more I thought about it, the angrier I became. Finally, I took out my phone and dialed 110. Hello, is this the police? I want to report to the police. My car has been stolen. I provided the police with detailed information about the vehicle. Soon, the police called and told me that the car was found. At the same time, the suspect who stole my car was also taken to the police station. They asked me to come over and understand the situation. It wasn't until they were pulled to the police station that Feng Zengwen and his mother realized that I wasn't joking. To my surprise, my parents were also present. Needless to think, it must be Feng Zengwen who complained. He looked at me incredulously and said heartbrokenly, Is it necessary, Qiao Qiao? Just because I didn't pick you up, you want to call the police to arrest me? I didn't even look at him directly throughout the process and just said firmly, It is necessary. Feng Zengwen's mother even wanted to eat me alive and cursed all kinds of bad words. You little whore. Something with a mother but no upbringing. How dare you call the police to arrest my son? You will be punished sooner or later. The police frowned into a Sichuan character. Although my mother didn't understand the facts yet, she still firmly stood by my side and quarreled with Feng Zhengwen's mother. My mother has set a record of cursing for 3 hours without repeating. On our 2 streets, basically no one dares to mess with my mother. Finally, the police couldn't stand it anymore and separated the two. The police persuaded, that's someone else's car. If you break up, return it to them. It's not good for both sides to make it like this. What, her car? They are both engaged. It's my son's car. Feng Zhengwen's mother was still unyielding and kept talking nonsense. The police simply invited her out. After the world was quiet, my father asked Feng Zhengwen with a livid face, Xiao Feng, what's going on? My father is a university professor and has always been gentle and refined. There are very few times when he shows such anger. Feng Zhengwen lowered his head and didn't dare to look at my father. Dad, Qiao Qiao and I just had a quarrel. You know Qiao Qiao's temper has always been spoiled. My father snorted coldly, I know the character of my own daughter. I also understand. Qiao Qiao is the treasure I have carefully raised for more than 20 years. Since she was a child, I wouldn't let her suffer a bit and would rather suffer myself. Unexpectedly, I handed my daughter to you, and this is how you treat her. Since Qiao Qiao wants to break up, we, as parents, support her decision. Feng Zhengwen's face turned pale and kept explaining, no, I didn't mean it that day. Witnessed by the police, Feng Zhengwen handed over the car key. Although he was reluctant, he could still distinguish which was more important between a car and his reputation and future. This car was originally under my name. There were no disputes after the transfer of the car key. It's just that the decoration money is not easy to handle. Everyone gets married with the intention of having a good life. Who knew Feng Zhengwen would do such a thing in the end? But it doesn't matter. Out of professional habit, I kept accounts of the invoices and various receipts during the decoration. Although it's a bit troublesome, I will get this money back sooner or later. When coming out of the police station, it was raining heavily outside. I sat in the driver's seat. I have to say, it feels really good to hold the steering wheel myself. While Feng Zhengwen and his mother stood under the eaves, looking worried. When driving past, I rolled down the car window and kindly told them, it's not easy to get a taxi on a rainy day. You have to wait in line for at least 2 or 3 hours. Wait patiently. When I got home, my mother took good care of my health. After learning that I had suffered so many grievances with Feng Zhengwen, she couldn't help but shed tears. I haven't even let you cook at home. Before getting married, you were treated like a servant. Feng Zhengwen is such an ungrateful guy. When he pursued you, his words were sweeter than singing. How long has it been before showing his true colors? My father brought out a bowl of freshly cooked chicken soup from the kitchen, sighed at my mother, and then immediately put on a kind father's face and said, come on, drink it while it's hot. Taking advantage of my time buried in drinking the soup, my father pulled my mother into the room. Stop talking so much. The child is feeling bad now. Anyway, the two of them have been in a relationship for 7 or 8 years. Even if you raise a dog, there will be feelings. What if Qiao Qiao can't think straight and is stimulated? My mother impatiently, TSK, Eden replied, I know Qiao Qiao's temper best as her mother. Don't think she suddenly proposed the breakup that day. In fact, she has imagined this scene countless times in her heart. Do you understand? My father said naively, I don't understand. But I smiled knowingly outside the room. My mother was right. Leaving is never sudden, but because of accumulated disappointments. In my world, I have imagined breaking up with Feng Zhengwen countless times. At those times when he used overtime as an excuse and let me face his mother alone. When I was wronged and wanted to talk to him, but he insisted on distinguishing right from wrong. At every moment I needed him but couldn't find him. So on the day when I really had to leave, I could accept it calmly instead. I called a moving company and moved all my personal items out of that house. When the master entered the door, Feng Zhengwen's mother was also at home. She followed the whole process and was always vigilant. For fear that I would take one more thing that didn't belong to me. I directed the master to take this and that. Seeing the large house getting emptier and emptier, Feng Zhengwen's mother turned pale. She shouted heartbrokenly, damn it, You are robbing. All these are the family property that my son worked hard to prepare. What qualifications do you have to take them away? Call the police. I'm going to call the police. I spread out my hands, as you like. Then I continued to direct the masters to move things. Feng Zhengwen had a dark face and finally couldn't hold it anymore. He looked up and asked me, "Do you have to be so cruel? Even if we break up, we can still be friends." I dusted the dust off my clothes and said casually, Nan Kiao, I'm not so lacking in friends. You'd better return the money to me earlier. We don't owe each other. Oh, by the way, please get up. This chair you are sitting on was also bought by me. Master, please move this dining table for me too. Feng Zhengwen twitched the corners of his mouth. His mother was so angry that she gasped for breath, but her mouth was still tough. You are making such a mess now. Don't regret it in the future. Even if you kneel down and beg my son, I won't agree to let you enter our house again. I want to see if anyone dares to want someone like you who has been slept with by many people. I won't return your money. Anyway, the house is in my son's name. My son will still get married and have children in this house in the future. How about that? I'll piss you off. I looked around. This small home that I built bit by bit with my own hands was eventually ruined by Feng Zhengwen. I clapped my hands and said to the masters, "Move all the furniture that can be moved. Smash everything that can't be moved." The master looked at the warm house and hesitated a little. Smash? To what extent? Smash it as it was when it was in the rough. Feng Zhengwen's mother was stunned. She hurriedly rushed to stop it, but the sledgehammer has no eyes. It's hard to say whether it hits the wall or the head with one swing. Feng Zhengwen dragged his mother out. After a few hours, the house almost returned to the rough state. The mother and son looked at the devastated house and didn't come to their senses for a long time. After the house problem was solved, I returned the betrothal gift and the 3 gold items to Feng Zhengwen. Originally, I thought this matter could be completely over and I could live a peaceful life next. Unexpectedly, Feng Zhengwen's mother came to my company. This time, she changed her arrogant and domineering nature and sat at the door of the office and wiped her tears. Nan Kiao, it's fine that you suddenly want to break up for no reason. You don't return the betrothal gift to our family. You said you would smash the house and asked us to give you 600,000 yuan for the decoration money. Where can we get so much money? To marry you, our family gave the betrothal gift and bought the 3 gold items. The house was also bought according to your request. We spent hundreds of thousands of yuan before and after, and emptied our family savings. I know you look down on our family and think our family conditions are not good. But my son has been obedient to you for all these years. Why did you break up and call off the engagement as soon as you said? The door of the office was already crowded with people, all stretching their heads, planning to watch the drama. At this time, a charming voice came from the crowd. I remember that Chakia's boyfriend was very nice to her. He picked her up and sent her off by car no matter it was windy or rainy. Did she have someone outside? I see her dressed up beautifully all day. Most of the people in our company are girls. Guess who she dressed up like that for? The onlookers gasped at these words. It's okay to watch the drama, but we are colleagues who get along all day. Even if we don't like each other in our hearts, it's fine to talk about it privately. Who would confront people face to face? The speaker was Lin Ji, an intern who just joined the company in the first half of the year. She has always been at odds with me. I don't know what I did to offend her. Since the day she came to the company, she has been speaking sarcastically to me all day. At first, I thought she was just a graduate who just entered the society, so I didn't take it to heart. But now, when Feng Zhengwen's mother saw someone speaking for her, her back immediately straightened up a lot. Nan Kiao, since your colleague said so, you must have done something wrong to my son, so you are in a hurry to break up and call off the engagement. One can't be so fickle. There will be retribution. Lin Ji helped Feng Zhengwen's mother up from the ground. She frowned and spoke in a cold tone. Sister Kiao, don't blame me for being talkative. I always stand by reason rather than by relationship. Last time I clearly saw you get off a man's luxury car and the two of you were very intimate. Is this the reason why you broke up with your boyfriend? Girls should not be too realistic. True love is something that can't be bought with any amount of money. How can you hurt someone who loves you like this? I looked at her coldly and pointed at Feng Zhengwen's mother beside her, puzzled. You speak so much for her. Is she your mother? Colleagues burst into laughter. Lin Ji's smiling face turned red and she said shyly, "What nonsense are you talking about? I'm just speaking up for justice. I just can't stand seeing someone being bullied." Oh? So you speak for her like this? Could it be that you have a crush on his son? Besides that, I can't think of any reason. Facing my teasing gaze, Lin Ji became furious. "You're having your cake and eating it too, and you're splashing dirty water on me. In my opinion, this outfit of yours must cost a lot of money, right? It must have been exchanged for being a mistress for an old man. I advise you to wake up earlier. Being a mistress won't have a good ending. You're so pretty. Why can't you earn money by your own ability? You have to be so disgusting." After these words were said, some people had already silently returned to their workstations, pretending to be outsiders. Some people clenched their small hands, and their excitement was obvious. Feng Zhengwen's mother, looking at the tense atmosphere, grabbed Lin Ji's hand and sighed, "Girl, thank you for speaking for me. In my opinion, you are much better than this Nan Qiao." Lin Ji's face showed a strange flush. I waited for them to finish their performance before continuing to speak. I described clearly and vividly how Feng Zhengwen threw me out of the car that day. I clearly saw that someone clenched their fists and gritted their teeth. As for the betrothal gift they mentioned, it was only 88,000 yuan. Later, Feng Zhengwen's mother borrowed 50,000 yuan back on the pretext of seeing a doctor. So, the actual amount in my hand was only 38,000 yuan. Not to mention the house. Feng Zhengwen made a down payment of 300,000 yuan, and I paid 600,000 yuan for the decoration fee. My name wasn't even on the property certificate. Isn't it obvious who took advantage of whom? I'm not insisting on keeping that 38,000 yuan betrothal gift. As long as my ex-boyfriend returns the decoration fee to me, I can transfer this money back at any time. To prove my words, I showed the transfer information, invoices and receipts one by one. The onlookers weren't fools either. At a glance, it was obvious that Feng Zhengwen's mother was crying thief while being a thief herself. How shameless. Not to mention 88,000 yuan, I thought Nan Qiao asked their family for a sky-high betrothal gift. Asking the woman to pay the decoration fee but not adding her name. The abacus is right in my face. At this point, his mother curled up and lowered her head, trying to reduce her presence. Lin Ji bit her lip and glared at me viciously. "So what? This doesn't affect the fact that you're a mistress for someone else. That car of yours costs at least 7 or 800,000 yuan. Can you afford it by yourself?" I shook my head helplessly. Some people really won't give up until they see the coffin. I took out a screenshot of a video and placed it in front of everyone. "Take a look. Who is the mistress?" A couple was kissing in the car in the photo. In one of the photos, the man's hand even reached under the woman's dress. Look at the faces again. Why does this woman look so familiar? The onlookers looked at each other. Not sure. Take another look. Until someone exclaimed, "Damn. Isn't this Lin Ji?" Lin Ji covered her face and let out a scream of, and rushed up to snatch my phone, but I dodged it. As you can see, the man in the photo is my ex-boyfriend, Feng Zhengwen. This group of photos was copied from the dashboard camera. It can be considered a pleasant surprise. After getting the car from Feng Zhengwen, I sent the car to the 4S store for maintenance. By the way, I checked if there were any scratches or accidents on the car. One day, the staff at the 4S store stammered and called me, "Sister, we found something on your car. You'd better come and take a look yourself." Half an hour later, I watched the entire video expressionlessly at the 4S store. Feng Zhengwen and Lin Ji didn't know when they hooked up. The two were even having sex in my car. At the last moment, Lin Ji even deliberately asked Feng Zhengwen, "How is it? Between me and Nan Qiao, that old woman, who can make you feel good? It's so disgusting." Later, thinking about it, Feng Zhengwen's picky attitude towards me during that time finally had a reason. Because of the comparison with Lin Ji, this rose, I became a grain of rice stuck to the clothes. Men have always been so realistic. Back to the present, I looked coldly at Lin Ji, who was on the verge of collapse, and asked, "Lin Ji, I thought you were young and hadn't resisted temptation. It's normal to go astray. I didn't want to embarrass you. But today, you brought your face up for me to hit." The colleagues present also pointed their spears at her together. After all, I had solid evidence, and no matter how many mouths she had, she couldn't explain clearly. She roared and rushed towards me. "Ah! You bitch, I'm going to kill you." Unfortunately, she couldn't even touch my clothes before someone grabbed her wrist. "What are you crazy about? Aren't you ashamed enough?" The person who came was Feng Zengwen. His brows were tightly knit and his face was haggard like I had never seen before. However, seeing the person standing behind Feng Zengwen, I understood everything. Lin Ji also saw the man in the suit behind her. She showed a crazy smile on her face. "It's you? You all see, this is Nan Qiao's lover." The man looked nearly 40 years old. His face was very good looking, but he was unsmiling and exuded an aura that strangers should keep away. Someone whispered, "Damn, a domineering president. This girl Nan Qiao eats too well." I couldn't help but hold my forehead and smile wryly. What's going on here? When Feng Zengwen's mother saw the lover appear, she regained her spirit again and said angrily, "Son, Nan Qiao really cuckolded you. We have to ask her for mental compensation." Feng Zengwen had just subdued Lin Ji. Hearing his mother say this, he was about to collapse. The man in the suit spoke. "Feng Zengwen, I don't know when I became my niece's lover?" I helplessly said, "Little uncle, don't joke." As soon as these words came out, Lin Ji and Feng Zengwen's mother changed their faces at the same time, murmuring, "How is it possible? How is it possible?" Feng Zengwen completely collapsed. "It's all because of you. Why did you provoke Nan Qiao for no reason? This is our company's boss. Nan Qiao is his own niece. I've been fired now. I have nothing. It's all your fault." No one knew that the boss of Feng Zengwen's company was my little uncle. When I first interned in our company, it was my little uncle who sent me in. Our company and my little uncle's company are competitors. I don't know what was on his mind. He actually expected me, a fresh graduate, to steal business secrets for him. Before I could even touch the secrets, he started a relationship with our company's boss. Perhaps it's mutual appreciation among the strong. Our boss became my little aunt. To sum up, the reason why Feng Zengwen has been so successful over the years, apart from his own ability, is mostly because I spoke well of him in front of my little uncle. My little uncle has only me as his niece. Just spoil her. What else can he do? Feng Zengwen and Lin Ji were both fired. If I had married Feng Zengwen smoothly, the position of general manager would have been his. I would have told him about my real family situation. Our life would have been worry-free in the future. It's a pity that Feng Zengwen couldn't go to the end with me. Fortunately, Feng Zengwen couldn't go to the end with me. Later, I heard that he married Lin Ji. They got married because of the pregnancy. Lin Ji really loved Feng Zengwen and was willing to marry him even though he had nothing. Feng Zengwen was originally unwilling. But his mother forced him by threatening to die. "You're over 30. Others at your age already have children who can buy soy sauce. I don't care. This child must be born." Feng Zengwen was a filial son and finally had to compromise. He had only one request for Lin Ji: take good care of his hardworking mother. The wedding room was still that semi-rough house. They just painted a little, bought some furniture and continued to live there. Since being fired, Feng Zengwen has been in a slump. He was constantly thinking about returning to his former influential days. So he was neither willing to take a low-paying job nor able to get a high-paying one. To support his family, he randomly found a company to do technical work. He did 3 times more work than before and got a salary of 3,000 yuan. After the child was born, everything from milk powder to diapers cost money. Gradually, Lin Ji's mindset also changed. She scolded Feng Zengwen as a loser who couldn't even raise a child. Feng Zengwen blamed Lin Ji for seducing him. Every time after that, he would tell Lin Ji to remember to take the pill. But Lin Ji deceived him. Feng Zengwen's mother, taking care of the child, was so tired that her old bones were almost falling apart. She also lost patience with her son. That was such a good job. It's gone just like that. Feng Zengwen was like a cat whose tail was stepped on. "Why are you blaming me? If it weren't for you making a fuss, would I be like this today? If I was still with Nan Qiao now, I would already be the company's general manager with an annual salary of at least 1 million. Feng Zengwen's mother muttered, "Why are you blaming me? Isn't it because you cheated?" Feng Zhengwen's life was a complete mess. Finally, one late night, he jumped from the 18th floor. 1 minute before jumping off the building, he sent me a text message, "Kiao Kiao, I'm sorry for you in this life. If there is an afterlife, I will treat you well." I shivered in my sleep, and immediately a pair of big hands pulled me into the arms. The man gently patted me. "Did you have a nightmare?" I shook my head and fell asleep peacefully in his arms. Extra chapter: Feng Zhengwen was lucky. He didn't die even after jumping from the 18th floor. He was rescued in the hospital for more than a month, underwent more than 10 surgeries, and finally saved his life. Unfortunately, he could no longer stand up. He was paralyzed from the neck down. After Lin Ji learned the news, she directly left the child and ran away. Only Feng Zhengwen's mother, who had a hard life all her life, was left to take care of the young and the old. After leaving Feng Zhengwen, my life was peaceful and easy. I don't need to guess anyone's thoughts anymore. On a rainy day, I can go home by myself even if no one picks me up. I forgot to mention that 3 years after breaking up with Feng Zhengwen, I got married. Coincidentally, my husband is the son of that kind aunt back then. After getting married, my husband treated me very well, not to mention my mother-in-law, who treated me like her own daughter. That rain back then made me see Feng Zhengwen clearly. And also let me meet my destiny. Everything is the best arrangement.